Hey guys, this is Kathy and Brian, and this is the Main Street Moments podcast / video, because we take our podcasts now and we put them on YouTube, so you guys can watch them that way or listen on Apple iTunes, whichever you like to do. We're going to jump right in. We have a few little news tidbits about the Food and Wine, which will be coming. I think you said it's opening the same weekend that Galaxy's Edge is opening. That is going to be a crazy weekend.
So what I'm going to do is
you're going up there. You have your hotel booked.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Galaxy's Edge the opening day, which I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I'm going to do it. And that's on a Thursday.
Right.
So my
29th.
So my plan is to go to Galaxy's Edge on opening day on Thursday, and then Friday go to the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot Center. Yeah.
That is going to be a busy weekend for you. Now, we could go to the sneak peek of the Galaxy's Edge, but you have to have a Platinum or a Platinum Plus pass, and you only have the Gold.
Yeah, so I only have Gold.
I guess I'll have to upgrade you for...
We're peasants.
I think everybody with an annual pass should be allowed the sneak peek, but whatever. So there's just a little bit of news for the Food and Wine. Not much that I have right now. I have to do a little more research, but they did release some information. Not related to that, though. Real quick, the Liberty Inn at the Epcot American Pavilion.
Yeah.
I have never eaten there, but you have.
Yeah,
you said it's really good.
It's okay. It's like hamburgers and French fries.
Okay, it's closing, and they're opening a barbecue / craft beer place, which sounds really good. And, you know, barbecue is very American to me. I mean, isn't it like an American thing?
Yeah, craft beer is like the new hipster thing now. It's like taking away regular beer. Everyone's in the craft beer.
What does that mean?
It's, to me, it looks like it's
just
still
more expensive.
It's more expensive. It doesn't taste as good, and you never know what you're getting because it's a brand you've usually never heard of or had before.
So it's anyway barbecue and craft beer.
Well, that sounds good
because I like barbecue.
You know, that sounds very good because barbecue, I think, is
very American.
Well, people that are from other countries that are visiting Epcot,
yes, they
have hamburgers and French fries everywhere, but I don't think people have real American barbecue everywhere. So that's probably a better thing to have there. What I wish they would do, though, is redo the show that they have inside for America.
Oh, I like that show.
Yeah.
Where the people come all dressed up like colonial and they sing.
No. I'm talking about
that's during the holidays.
I'm talking about the one with the
with Mark
animatronic.
Twain.
Yeah, with Mark Twain and all
how
that.
long has it been there?
It's been there a long time, and it's a long show. It's very long. And I have not gone in a long time because it's kind of... They did change a few years ago. They did change the closing, which is like a movie. But I'm kind of tired of the same thing.
I don't think I have seen that show since Epcot first opened.
Yeah, it's been there a long time.
Okay, and then as far as the Food and Wine, they have, if you go to the Disney food blog people, they have everything about food at Disney. They have the new menu and the map. And they did take out a few things. I read that the Light Lab will not be there this year.
At the Food and Wine Festival?
Because you said they're renovating that building where the Light Lab
was.
Well,
the building that the Light Lab is in is one of those two buildings that are going to be demolished
which they should be.
For the update of Epcot. And I'll tell you, when you walk into that building, a lot of people go in there because there's nothing in there, all right, except like during the Food and Wine. There's really nothing in there but air conditioning.
Yeah.
And the building smells...
It's falling apart.
Like moldy and what's that like? I don't want to say... Musty. Yeah, it smells musty in there and everything.
And there's like literally things falling off the ceiling.
But they could put the Light Lab anywhere.
But what did you think of the Light Lab? You went last year. I've never been to the Light Lab.
Well,
is it overrated? Is it worth it? You said the drink wasn't that good.
It's a cool idea, okay?
Yeah.
But people wait for a long time to get into the Light Lab at the Food and Wine Festival, and I was a little disappointed when I went in what I was disappointed in was because people wait in line so long for it.
I expect something amazing.
Yeah, and when I go inside, I kind of felt too rushed, like I couldn't enjoy the Light Lab because they're trying to get people in and out.
How was the drink? Okay.
You know.
So they're opening now. They're going to be getting rid of a few other things. If you go to the Disney Food blog, they have all the info. But the Light Lab and a few other things will not be there that were there. I think there's a Greek thing that's not going to be there, which stinks because I love Greek food. But two places that will be there that are new. They're having a new place called the Apple Orchard. I'm not sure exactly where this is going to be, but it's going to have a lot of apple-themed drinks and food and stuff.
Well, that should be with America.
I don't
somehow.
know.
That should be.
No, it's in Canada. That's right. It's in
I think Apple's, American.
It's in the Canadian Pavilion.
Not Canada.
It's in the Canadian Pavilion. And then the Alps is going to have a booth or a food thing, which will be very interesting.
You know, it'd be cool if they did.
Yeah.
If they had, like they during the Garden Festival, they had that butterfly tent. If they had a tent with some real apple trees in it, because I don't think many people have seen.
How are they going to bring apple trees in?
Oh, it's Walt Disney. They could do it. They could put them in big pots. They brought in all those butterflies. They can bring in. Come on.
Have people walk through an actual apple orchard?
Yeah, that would be really cool.
So then at the Alps Pavilion, which sounds good to me, is they're going to have a Swiss cheese with potatoes and onions.
Are they going to have an Alps Pavilion?
They're going to have venison stew.
All right.
A blueberry almond tart. They're going to have some fancy drinks. I have never been to the Food and Wine, so I'm definitely planning on going this year. It sometimes can be a little warm when it happens. It opens in August and runs through November. So sometimes it can be warm even in November. And I cannot go to Disney if it's I know it's crazy, but if it's over 75 degrees, I can't handle it. Because even if it's 80 degrees, which isn't horrible, it's so crowded. Meanwhile, they take the temperature in the shade. You need to know that. So whenever you see the temperature in Florida, it's measured in the shade. So when you're in the sun, add 10 degrees. So even if it's 75 degrees in Florida, sometimes it'll feel 85. So I have to be really careful just because of my medical issues. So last year I did not get to go, but I hope to go this year because you went and you said the food was really good.
Here's the thing about the Food and Wine Festival, which I went last year, was the first time I'd ever went. And
did
I liked it a lot.
Did you go twice or just once?
I might have.
No, we have two videos.
No.
You went one weekend.
No, at the art festival, they have a lot of food booths too. But at the Food and Wine Festival, the food is not expensive. I mean, it was, you can't eat at everything. But I remember going to the American Pavilion, it was $6 and something. I mean, they don't give you're not getting a hearty meal.
And you had that Bailey's drink, which was really good.
The alcohol drinks are very expensive, but the food is very reasonably priced.
If you live there, you're so lucky because you could go there to the Food and Wine. It runs for a couple months. You could go every week, twice a week, and you could just go and have lunch there or have dinner there. Well, you could eat for less than $15.
There's a pass at Epcot, annual pass holders. There's a special Epcot pass that is just after 4 p.m. that people buy. A lot of people buy. A lot of locals buy.
There's a lot. If you live in Florida, there's a lot of special passes that only Floridians can get. They have a pass Monday through Thursday, and it's $350 a year. But you get to go Monday through Thursday anytime, which is a great time to go because it's less crowded.
Yeah.
They have weekend passes, and you're right, they have passes just for Epcot too. So
what
there's
I'm
a lot of
gonna do,
options.
this year at the Food and Wine, anytime I go to the World Showcase, every time I always go counterclockwise where I go to Canada first. So they have food everywhere, even over by Test Track. So I think what I'm going to do
is go the other way.
This time is I'm going to go the other way.
We always start in Canada for some reason.
Yeah, I always go counterclockwise, and I find it less crowded. The reason there's always a bottleneck over by Mexico. So
but the food at Mexico has got to be good.
So I'm gonna go clockwise this time and see what I come across.
Well, I think you should try to go at least twice to the Food and Wine this year, maybe 3 times, and every time we'll get the pamphlet. They give you a little booklet of all the different things and check off, everything. See, if you live there, you could go all the time and check off and try almost everything. But try to, try as many things as possible.
And they've got these festivals go on for months, and I'm thinking that when Guardians of the Galaxy opens up and Ratatouille, these festivals were brought in to get crowds into Epcot because there used to be low crowds at Epcot often. So they brought in all these festivals to bring up the crowds. I don't think they're going to get rid of the festivals, but they'll probably have them, I bet you, for less time than they have them now when they get these new rides in there.
It's interesting you say that because you went to Epcot a few weeks ago, and it was right after the garden ended, and I watched Resort TV 1 last night. They live stream and they were at Epcot last night, and it was so empty. And even the WDW couple, they were there and they were talking about how empty it is. You're right. People, because they have these festivals, between festivals, you see what's normally like at Epcot. It's really not that crowded, not that busy, because Right now, there's not a ton of. It's not like going to the Magic Kingdom where there's a ton of
well,
rides.
You know what though? At Epcot, okay. Here's the thing about,
or people are just waiting for festivals.
Now, this is the thing, okay, about not having a festival at Epcot. The crowds are lower, but I don't know if they're as low as they seem. And what I mean is, the booths for everything, whether the art festival, the garden festival, the food festival, they take up a lot of walkway. And Epcot...
That's true. It's pretty wide.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big area.
You know, one of the biggest problems at Magic Kingdom is the streets and things aren't wide enough. The sidewalks aren't wide enough.
But you've noticed...
But at Epcot, everything's wide enough. And I didn't... You know, it's been a while.
There's a lot of room to walk.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years since I've been to Epcot without a festival until last time I was up there a couple weeks ago. It was the first time I was there without a festival for a couple of years. And I'd forgotten how wide all the walkways are. And there's a lot of room.
That's right. And if you go between festivals, if you're not like totally into the festivals, because they're really busy, but if you go between festivals, especially during the week, it is very empty.
Yeah, but I can't go
You really have a lot of room. So if you're not like in love with going to festivals and don't really care about that, try to plan your trip for Epcot when there's not a festival, especially when one ends, right after one ends.
Yeah, like the weekend after.
And it'll be so empty.
And another thing, I've been talking about this a lot on our YouTube videos, because this is kind of a new thing I've been noticing, is the parks have not seemed as crowded, and I think it's because of the new stroller rules. Because I guess it's been about 2 months now since they changed.
You've noticed that it seems less crowded.
Yeah, they have a restriction now on all Disney parks, at least in the United States, on stroller size. And now that people have reasonably sized strollers, not these huge quadruple wide strollers they were having, and it's not just...
It was really out of control.
Oh, yeah.
It was out of control.
It's not just the width, it's the length. There's a restriction on the width and the length of the strollers.
Right.
And I think the reason that the parks haven't seemed as crowded is they're not as crowded with these oversized strollers as they used to be. And people still have a lot of strollers because, you know, I was over at Epcot a couple weeks ago over by the land. There's a stroller parking. It was filled, but they're all regular sized strollers. And I think that's why it doesn't seem as crowded as usual.
Yeah,
too.
No, I agree. I think that's a good thing. And, you know, I see a lot of people on mobility scooters, and I have to ride a mobility scooter at the park. And I'm not going to criticize anybody who does. You never know what somebody is dealing with or going through, why they might need one, or they might not look sick, but that doesn't mean they don't have MS. There's a lot of invisible diseases.
Yep.
I use oxygen at the park, so it's pretty obvious there's something wrong with me, but there's people that have MS, like my best friend has MS. She would have to get a scooter. And you look at her, you would never know.
Yeah.
She looks like a perfectly healthy person. So you never know. But that can be an issue, too. There's so many scooters. Please don't get a scooter just because you're lazy. Please don't.
Only
if you need it.
Some of the mobility scooters are pretty big. Like you have a mobility scooter that we own, not one that we rent at the park.
It's compact. It's small.
And it's a normal size scooter. But some of these mobility scooters are like the size of a car almost. Some of them are pretty big.
But don't you feel sometimes there are people there that, I mean, like I said, you never know by looking at somebody, and I would never approach anybody. But don't you feel sometimes there are people that rent them just because they're lazy and they don't want to walk?
I don't know. Maybe. I'm sure sometimes. But
there are real disabled people that really need them. So try not to do that if you can help it, but whatever. I'm not judging anybody. So we wanted to talk about, there's a lot of Disney vloggers we watch, okay? There's two. One we met, Michael K., who we love. I think he does some of the best videos. And Braden from Mickey Views.
Yeah.
Both of these guys are moving to Orlando.
And they have great YouTube channels.
Well,
Braden says he's moving not to Orlando, but to the Space Coast, which is 30,
about an hour away.
Depending on where you are, 30 to an hour.
An hour away. Yeah, that's right. He said he wants to move by NASA, which is, I would want to live on the coast too.
But Michael K., he announced today.
10 minutes away.
He's going to be living in, he says, in Orlando, 10 minutes from the park, somewhere near Celebration. So, yeah.
I am very excited because Michael does amazing videos, and I know that he will cover everything.
Well, you know, he has
110%.
Michael K. and Braden, they've two of our favorite YouTubers. I mean, there's a lot of YouTubers we watch that are Disney and theme park YouTubers, but I think those two are kind of our favorite. Two of our favorites.
You know what it is? I was thinking about it. Michael K. and Braden, to me, are very similar, okay? They're both young guys unmarried, no kids, so they have no attachments. They're basically free to do whatever the heck they want. They don't have anything really like a family. I don't mean a mom and dad, but they don't have like a spouse and kids, like those kind of responsibilities. So when you're single and unattached, you have responsibilities, but you have a lot more freedom. So they have that in common. They're kind of the same age in their 20s, but they both, out of all the vloggers...
No, Braden is only like 18, 19. He's right out of high school. He's like 18, 19 years old.
I thought he was like 21. Mm-mm. Okay, so he's younger.
He's like right out of high school.
He seems more mature. But these two guys, I like all the vloggers, don't get me wrong. And people that vlog would not do it if they didn't love Disney.
Yeah, we watch a lot of vlogs.
We love Disney. We vlog. But of all the vloggers, Michael and Braden seem to have the most enthusiasm.
Well, they love the place, yeah.
When they're there, if you watch, it's like when you watch Michael and Braden, it's like exhausting to watch some of their videos. They have so much energy that Braden like goes there and he's just like, bup, 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 and he has so much information that he tells you. And you can tell he really does his research and he really digs deep and tries to give you as much information. And Michael has I have never seen a love for Disney on anybody that I've seen with this guy. He does the cruises. He's been to Hawaii. Yeah. He goes to Disneyland. This guy is dedicated. He loves Disney like I have never seen. And I know all vloggers love Disney, but this guy has a passion for Disney that I have never seen. And I think now Mickey Views, he has more subscribers than Michael, but I think Michael is going to really blow up.
Michael K
and Mickey Views, they're both going to blow up.
As of this morning, Michael K has a little over 34,000. And when we started watching Michael K, he was under 5,000.
That's right. And that was a year ago.
Yeah, and he lives in Maryland, but you wouldn't know it by watching his YouTube channel. I
am predicting he will be at 100 by the end of the year.
No.
Yeah, I think so. I'm telling you.
Maybe 50, but not 100.
He will be at 50 by the end of the summer.
No way.
Brian, once you hit certain levels on YouTube, it takes off. Well, that's my prediction. I think he'll be at 100,000 by the end of the year, certainly within the next year. Braden already has how many? Because you've been watching him.
I have no idea how many followers.
I think he has more. He did Mickey Views like a newscast. Now, I don't know if he's still going to do that, but he's moving to Orlando before Galaxy's Edge. But these two guys are going to blow up. Now, my question is, you have vloggers there that live in Orlando already. You have Tim Tracker, obviously, he's got more subs than anybody.
He's the big kahuna.
The WDW couple, who you met Josh, so he was very nice. Yeah. Josh and Taylor, they're great. You have Cory Meets World, Prince Charming Dev. I don't want to leave anybody out. Paging Mr. Morrow. You have a lot of...
Every week, I find out about more vloggers that are just basically Disney vloggers that I never heard of before.
Oh, and a new one I watch. You guys have to watch her. That crazy Disney lady, Tanya. I love her.
It's crazy with a K is how she spells it, I think. Or is it C?
No, it's a C.
Okay.
That crazy Disney lady, and she live streams a lot. And then there's Genevieve from Earsom Emporium. Anyway, there's a lot we watch.
There's dozens and dozens and dozens of
you
Disney
asked
vloggers.
me, because Michael's moving there, Braden, it seems like so many vloggers are moving to Orlando. Yeah. I saw another vlogger today that I'd never heard of that's moving there. I'll tell you about it later. And you said to me, is this going to get overexposed? Is it going to be too many vloggers, too much? Are they going to burn it out? You know what I mean?
So far as
I don't think so, but maybe.
As far as Disney vlogging goes, now this isn't so much with Walt Disney World in Florida, but the first big Disney vlogger was Justin Scard, and he started at Disneyland.
No, Tim Tracker too. Tim Tracker's been around, and Spokesmayne has been around for 8 years.
But when Justin Scard started vlogging at Disneyland, there was no one really vlogging the Disney parks regularly.
I think Tim Tracker and Spokesmayne have been around like 8 years.
He's been around a long time, too, but he was the first one to really
those guys were
blow
early,
up.
Yeah.
So now...
And Adam the Woo.
Yeah, but he wasn't a Disney vlogger. No.
Right.
No, I'm talking about just like a Disney vlogger. And Tim Tracker wasn't really a Disney vlogger when he first started. Okay,
but he's been doing Disney for about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. So, regardless of all of that,
yeah,
I'm just wondering, are we getting to a point... I mean, there are more Disney vloggers than you could imagine.
And when you go, you see so many that we've never even heard of. You see people vlogging, talking to cameras.
You can tell because they're by themselves talking to the camera, walking around. So you know it's a vlogger. Or sometimes...
You should go up and introduce yourself.
Sometimes I...
Get their channel.
Like when I was at Epcot a couple weeks ago, I was walking by. It was the Flower and Garden Festival, and they had the topiary of Figment. And these two people, they ran up and they're taking weird pictures and stuff really fast, and they move on. You can tell who the vloggers are.
Yeah.
And not only are there vloggers, because we don't follow...
It's really taken off.
We don't follow this at all. But I see, like, a lot of times on vlogs, they'll get introduced. There's a lot of Instagram people, too, that we don't even know about.
I follow
that
a lot
are all
of
over the place.
Instagrammers.
So what I'm starting to wonder is, there are so many big vloggers now. The Tim Tracker is the biggest one.
He has the most subscribers.
You know, Michael K is moving. You know, we talk about Braden. There's other ones there. Who is the one guy?
Spokesmayne. He does the cool music videos. We love him.
Who's the one guy from England that I watch? I'd forgotten his name. He was just at Galaxy's Edge, but he's mostly he's been in Orlando
Rob
all
plays,
summer.
But Rob, I don't know his name.
Oh yeah, Jack from DSY Newscast. Okay, he's the British guy.
Is he moving here too?
Well, I don't know if he's moving here, but he has been in Orlando all summer. He went out to California, and he's got an American girlfriend. So I'm assuming
you never know.
I'm assuming she's from one of the two coasts. Well, anyway, you know about all the vloggers, because I love vloggers. We watch probably more vloggers than we do anything. We watch more Disney vloggers, I would say, than any other type of thing on YouTube, and maybe even more than on television.
I don't really watch anything else on YouTube.
But, you know, I was wondering, because...
Maybe a few art videos.
Well, what happened is, we just discovered Disney vloggers a couple years ago. We were going to Disney. We had a trip planned. I think it was last
year.
I think maybe 2 years. And we thought, well, let's see what's new up there. And we went on YouTube, and that's when we found Justin Scard, and then we found all these other people.
You started... Who did you start? Because you started
Justin
watching
Scard was the first. And then Michael...
And then Adam the Woo, those three.
Yeah, then
we started watching those three. Then Tim Tracker, because Tim Tracker had done a few videos with Adam and Justin. So we're like, oh, who's this guy?
Yeah.
And I discovered I like to go in a lot of live streams. So I was in 2 last night. Resort TV 1, they do a live stream every Friday. And that crazy Disney lady Tanya, I love her. And so I was like, I had one on my phone and one on my iPad, and I was watching them both. I was in both chats, and that's a good way to find vloggers too, because vloggers go in those chats too and talk, and you can click on their channel, and you can click on our channel.
Everyone talks about, and I just had this idea yesterday, we were talking about this. Everyone is always talking about how much more crowded the parks are now than they used to be. And I'm wondering how much of that is because of all of the Disney vloggers giving all this free publicity to Disney.
I'm sure it has helped Disney, but the problem is Disney is getting so expensive. I don't want to go off on that tangent because we've talked about that before.
Well, we're talking about the vloggers moving there. And, you know, what I'm wondering is there are all of these huge vloggers, like the Tim Trackers. Like, I think the Tim Tracker is the #1 Orlando vlogger by far. I mean, he has
more subscribers,
over 500,000 subscribers.
Oh, yeah. He's over 600,000.
But there's a lot of these other big vloggers. They have much smaller channels, but they're big. You know, you've got Michael K moving there. You know, we were talking about Brandon.
Spokesmayne, you have Cory Meets World.
The WDW Couple.
WDW Couple, Prince Charming Dev, that crazy Disney lady, and there's many others.
There's just a few.
Others.
I mean,
I found another one. I was going to tell you
finding
a new one. Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that the vloggers, there's so many moving there now, are they is it overexposure time? Because so many are, like, we vlog, so who are we to talk? But we don't, you know, we live a couple hours away, and I go up once or twice a month, you know, and vlog. But we're talking about
so. I was talking
people
to
doing
Emily,
it full time.
I was talking to Emily about it because she's really into YouTube, and our daughter, she's 20. And I asked her this, and she said no. She said there's people that she's been watching for 5-6 years that she still loves.
Yeah.
As long as you keep the content fresh. And the good thing about Disney is they are adding so many new things now. Now, the only time it would be a problem is if Disney stops changing or stops growing, which I don't think is ever going to happen, because you reminded me, we were talking the other day, and I said, it seems like Disney's growing and changing so much more than it used to. And in ways it is, but you reminded me, you said, no, even in the 90s and stuff, they were adding new rides, like Splash Mountain came along in the 90s and
80s.
Late 80s,
Yeah,
but they were always kind of adding new stuff, just maybe not as quickly as they are now.
Well, they've always been adding new stuff and have added new parks. It's just because when you're watching vlogs, you see what's going on there much more than you go once every year or every 2 years, and all of a sudden there's a
but
new roller coaster.
They have so many new things, so many experiences you can go on. Like Resort TV1, Jenna went to a Star Wars dessert party, which was so cool. She was interacting with the stormtroopers. That was a lot of fun. They have so many experiences and new things, new desserts, new merchandise, new this, new that. Tim Tracker was just there a couple weeks ago at Hollywood Studios, and he got these new desserts that they have for Forky and all the stuff. They have new characters. As long as Disney is keeping the parks fresh and adding new things, new experiences, like if you live there, you could go to the Villains Night. You go to, obviously, the Halloween party, the Christmas party. You go to the festivals. There's always something to do at the park. So as long as that happens, I don't think they're going to have a problem.
The thing about vlogging, because, I mean, obviously in Orlando, you've got the Disney parks and Universal. I know there's other things like Legoland and SeaWorld, but they're not that popular. And Disney is incredibly vlogger friendly. Universal is not, because at Universal, you can't film on any of the rides. And
which is a mistake, I think.
Yeah, and vloggers sometimes, I was paging Mr. Morrow on YouTube, and he was at Universal Studios Orlando, and he was like, you can't vlog on any of the rides. It's not very vlogger friendly. Ron Plays on YouTube. I know we're talking a lot about vloggers today, but it's kind of like the theme of the show. Ron Plays on YouTube. He had a video about a year ago. You guys got to look for this. It was a really good video about the opening day at Epcot and what Disney did to get free publicity. And you got to remember, Epcot opened up in 1982, and satellite, so far as television news, was a new thing. So Disney got a satellite truck and invited local news reporters from around the country to go there, and they would have use of the satellite truck for free, so they could report back to North Dakota or Hawaii. And back then, TV stations didn't have satellite trucks, and they got all of this free, massive publicity when Epcot opened through local news with satellite. Only the national media had them, and Epcot did that. And that's kind of what vlogs are doing now. Vlogs are giving millions and millions of dollars every week of free advertising.
Yeah.
And even us, if it wasn't for us, when we first found those vlogs a couple years ago, it was just for a trip. And we live in Florida, and we weren't going all that often. And because of the vloggers,
we got annual passes. You go twice a month.
Yeah, we go all the time.
We're doing this podcast. We do a lot of things. So I think you're right. The vloggers, Disney is smart because they're very vlogger friendly, and you see vloggers everywhere now. And vloggers definitely help their business, because when you watch it depends on the vlogger, but when you watch them, if they're really excited, like Michael K, or enthusiastic, and they really love it. Some vloggers, I won't mention who, it almost is like a job for them. Like, you don't feel that sense of wonder or excitement. And sometimes you do, and it's phony. You can see it's phony. You really can tell who's sincere and who's not. And the ones that are phony and the ones that are phoning it in, I don't watch them. But there are some where it's almost like becomes a job. And maybe if you don't love it, then I don't think you should do it. I mean, like when you vlog, you have a full-time job and you go on the weekends, okay? And you drive almost 3 hours one way to go for the day. You usually don't stay overnight. You leave at 5 a.m. You get there by 8. Sometimes you leave at 6. You get there from when it opens. You stay 4 or 5 hours, and then you drive all the way home.
Yeah.
That is a labor of love. That is somebody who really loves doing the vlogging. You do it because it's not a job for you. You do it because it's a hobby and you really enjoy it. But some of the vloggers, and this is what I think Michael K was worried about. He said, if I move there, I'm worried I'll lose that sense of magic. I don't think he has that problem. But some people that live there, or some people that come in, I mean, I feel like sometimes it seems like it's like almost becomes a job. I wonder if they feel that way, or if it just doesn't come across.
This is what I think happens with a lot of vloggers, okay? And we're a big fan of vlogging. We vlog. Main Street Moments is our YouTube channel, too. There's a new drink that they're going to serve somewhere. So they got to rush there and try to be the first ones to have it on YouTube.
Because you get that. See, that's where this competition comes in.
Yeah.
Because whoever gets the video up first gets more views.
Yeah.
Well, like with the Hagrid ride, people went there the day of and waited in line and waited hours and hours and hours because we knew that ride was opening. So in like Galaxy's Edge, you and I were on YouTube waiting for those videos. We're like, somebody's going to have this the first day. And that's what you want to see. If you have somebody that maybe like you, maybe you can't get there on the opening day, or you have to wait a week or two, you'll get views, but the person who gets there first. So yeah, I think there's a sense of competition with the people. I think they're welcoming and they love the camaraderie, and I think they're all very nice with each other. But I think there's a little bit of sense of competition, like to get there first, get the video up first.
And I was at Epcot when I was at Food and Wine last year. I met this one vlogger in the Light Lab, and he speaks Spanish. Mm-hmm. And he's from South America, but he lives in Orlando, and he has a whole YouTube channel, and it's all in Spanish. So there's a whole nother world in different languages, too.
It's amazing.
I love the vlogs. It's great.
Yeah, and we wish Michael well, and Braden, Michael K. and Mickey Views Braden, who these two guys are moving to Orlando, and we're so excited. Like, Braden's moving there, and those two guys have so much energy and passion, and I am so excited for the vlogs that they're going to put out, because they really, you could tell, put their time and energy. They all do, but they really just have a love for Disney like nobody else. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys, and we're going to try to podcast a lot more often, and we're going to put these on iTunes. You can listen there, or you can listen on our YouTube channel, Main Street Moments, where we're going to put our podcasts up there as well. Thanks so much, and we'll see you guys at the parks.